Hello everyone. So what I'm doing today is when I did that West Coast Picks multi-lock challenge, I opened up this 930 pretty rapidly, faster than I've ever opened it before, and I just want to see, well, there's two things. I know there's 5 spools in this Bible, and I've got a little bit of a stick on this, and I've either got a key pin in the wrong position or I've got a little burr on the core that I need to take off. But I wanted to look at that, and since I've got these serrated key pins and stuff, I was going to upgrade it to serrated key pins on the ones that I can do. So let me get this guy. And this is one of those locks that you better shim, because I've gutted this thing before and made a big mess of it, so I don't want to repeat that mistake. I don't know if it's going to let me. It should let me shim it. It doesn't want to. I'm running into something on this last pin back here. When you have to turn it 90 degrees to remove the core, which I think this one is, 90 degrees one way or the other. I think it goes this way. Let me check. I'm not getting any movement. I know there's a magic on these crimp cores. There's a magic position that if you get it, you don't have to take the crimp out. Man, look at me fumble. That's why I said guttings for me are never routine and normal. And maybe after years of doing this, I'll get to where they're normal. But for right now, they're not normal. This guy doesn't want to shim, and he does. I've had him part before, so I know I should be able to do this. Yeah, I'm not going far enough. I hope all this is on camera. And I changed my, oh shit. Turned it 180. Luckily they fell back in. That's the mistake you don't want to do, is turn this thing 180 degrees and be holding it and watch it drop. Man. Oh, and I just did it again. The one thing I said we shouldn't do, and I just did it. So I'm hosed once again. Wow. A spool fell out. He's kind of mangled. It's not a serrated spool. Right. You know what? That spool... I think I know what's happened now. I have a... that's why I'm getting a hang-up. I managed to put a spool in a key pin slot. I just dropped him on my lap. I need to get a flashlight to find him, because he's a tiny little brass one. There he is. I'll see him before I even turn the light on. So that's probably why I'm getting a hang-up. This guy was in a key pin position. So, and I'm dropping all my key pins. I learned from my last gutting fiasco that I should not, I should organize my pinning mat a little bit better because I got really confused when I so that means I probably got a key pin as a driver pin up here. Now when you turn like I just did and you feel that, that means I just mangled springs, which I just did. I can see a spring back here that I just mangled, so I just cut a spring in half. There's a little piece of him down there. Like I said, these are never normal guttings for me, because I'm pretty good at screwing things up I've never done before. And now it's just going to be a matter of getting this thing back into working order. But like I said, the reason why it was hanging up and acting weird was because I managed to place a driver spool in a key pin slot, and somehow it worked. Right now I'm trying to, I'm not really single pin picking, I'm trying to push these pins back up into the Bible and get the core to turn so I don't mangle any more screws. So once again, this is why there's always adventures in picking with me. A lot of times I kick myself in the butt and say, why did you take that apart? It was working fine before, and now you've taken it apart and you've messed it up. Well, that's kind of the learning process, you know. If you've never taken one of these apart before and you don't want to take them apart, you're never going to learn. It'll always be a big mystery to you. And if stuff is mine, which it is, I like to know the ins and outs of it. And I definitely need more springs because I'm always mangling springs. I'll mangle them. If they're salvageable, I'll take them, but usually this is what happens. I rotate it 180 degrees, my key pins fall out, and then I rotate it back up, and the drivers try to fall into the slot where the bottom of the key would normally be, and you get a big mess. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get this on camera, the recovery, because I see pieces of springs sticking out of there, and trying to rotate the core without any more falling down, and I've got to shear off dead springs, and oh, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So they say. I could try this. Try to insert the key again and just force everybody. Key on one side and the a hook on the other, and I just try to push everything up and get the key to go in. There we go. And you'll be able to see what's mangled. There's a little piece of a spring sticking out there. See him coming out? So let's just grab him. He's already sacrificed. Let's just grab him out of there and get him all out of the way. You know, these pliers are not that great for grabbing small parts. It's just what came in with the set. I've got better pliers lying around here somewhere. Whee! That's one spring out. That's one way to get them out. So, the reason why I'm putting this video up is just to give other people encouragement that screw stuff up. Don't worry. Believe me, if it can be messed up, I've done it. I'll probably continue to make this mistake. I just don't know why this thing doesn't want to move out. gotta rapidly, there we go, I got him past. There, that's the, it's all the way to the left on these particular ones to disassemble them. So, let's go in here. We already know that that was slot 6 in the back. We're about to be able to do the gutting now, and we'll find out what I did wrong. I'm not even going to use a follower. I'm just going to push it back with the. So there's where there's a spool. Let's see, I had that one as pin 5 down there. So that's a spool on pin 5. Here's another spool on pin 4, or driver 4. Let's push back. Another spool on pin 3. Another spool on pin 2. So it must have been pin 1 that I screwed up. We'll put a key pin in there. What? There is no driver in pin 1. What in the hell is going on here? So I had a key pin. This is the spool that was in the key pin slot. So let me pull these guys out. I've got 4 springs that I didn't screw up. If you don't have a, well, get off there, buddy. If, for example, you've got, which I did, I had a pin down here. This was actually over pin 1, didn't even have a driver in it. So what you run into is, luckily I've got those serrated pins. I can use one of those as a key pin for this, and I'll put this back together. But apparently that's why that thing opened up that fast. I either lost a key pin and this guy fell in, which would have, it doesn't make sense because the spring behind it would have dropped down and bound up the core like it did. I don't know what I did wrong, but obviously the last time I put it together, it was still functioning. It would function with a key and everything, but there's definitely no other key pins in there. And I took it out right here, and I have cleaned up my table and my mat. Well, at least my mat. Oh, wait a minute. Here's one right here. So there's the key pin. I don't know why he ran off. So there are 5 pins. There were 5 pins in there, and I just got lucky somehow picking. I think when I turned that over and did 180 on it and dropped off the pins the last time, that one ran off over into a corner over here. So I'm sorry all that's been off camera, but we do have the key pins and the drivers. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change up these key pins down here to serrated. I'm going to put it back together. Now since this is 14 minutes after this big fiasco, I will need another spring in there. I'm going to stop this video and continue it so it doesn't drag on too long.